Hello, everyone. Well, it's time to do another video. I am not putting a day to this video because I am not sure when this video will be ready to go up. But it will be labeled at the beginning like all the rest. Anyway, so what I've got here are 7 that are molds that you can use whatever you want. Okay, I can't get it up there too far because if I do, it disappears in shadow. Let's see, how far can I get it up? About there. But these don't do too well with epoxy, but they can. They are all matte. This one here is a door, and I have to make all 7 of them. And they're going to be used in other videos. I'm not sure if I'm going to use all of them, but I do want to have all of them done. So we have jack-o'-lanterns on this one. We have the Grim Reaper and a house on this one. We have a jack-o'-lantern holding a jack-o'-lantern dressed in a witch's garb. We also have, I believe this is just, let me see, a set of pumpkins, jack-o'-lanterns, leaves, bats, those kinds of things. This is an owl with some jack-o'-lanterns. And let's see, this one here is a ghost with a witch's hat and some kind of monster or something on this side over here. Could be a cat. I think it could be a cat. I think it's a cat. A scary cat. And then this door, it doesn't have anything particularly meant for Halloween. It was sold as a fairy door, but I think it'll do perfectly for Halloween and many other. The cat you're listening to is Big John. He wanted to get in this room so bad, he wormed his way right past me, and I could not stop him. So he's in here for the duration. Anywho, because these need to be filled, I am not even using casting powders this time in all of them. I will use casting powders in some. Casting powders tend to have a bubble situation in items like this. So I intend to be using some Crayola air dry clay in white. I don't know, did I get it all in there? I think I might have, but I got like a shadow going. Probably have to turn all the light on too. So why don't we do that real fast? Yes, Big John, I hear you. I honestly do. There we go. Maybe we can see a little bit better, huh? Okay, this here is still really soft. I put it in this bag a long time ago. This was purchased March, or delivered and put into the bags March 1st of 2023. So this is well over 2-year-old, and it is still very pliable. And that's what we're going to be using. I'm going to put you on pause. I'm going to go ahead and set Big John back outside the room. Back in a sec. Okay, now that that is done, let's see what we can do about smooshing this in. Now, the clay is going to go into this, this, and this. Casting powders are going to go into this because I'm going to make them a little bit more liquidy. And my big thing is, though, trying to move anything with liquid in it. I did, however, you might have seen on my other channel, Marcy's Artsy Fartsy Creations, that I had purchased some of these to put into my Resiner's tumbler dryer curing machine. So what I'm going to do is I will place these 4 on here so that I can transfer them to the dryer box. And hopefully not spill on the way over to it. So I'm going to set these aside for now while I get the air dry clay put into these. If I can open the baggie. Okay, got it. Now I should be wearing some gloves for this, so yes, it is a lot easier to work with this clay with your hands because your hands are washable and all that. But right now I prefer not to have to get that nasty and do the cleanup since I have to also do the casting powders. I'll be right back. I do hope you were able to hear the very first part of that. And I do apologize if you couldn't. I will do a voiceover if necessary for that section. But I forgot to turn my mic on. I am using the external mic and testing it. The first couple times I tried testing it, I have forgotten to turn it on as well. So I don't know what kind of sound got through from it or not when I did turn it on. So this is the extreme test, I guess, for it. Anyway, gotta knead this nice and pliable. It's cold, so it might take a minute. And if you warm it up, it does smush down a lot better. You'll have to let me know if you do hear a difference in the sound, or if there was no sound at the beginning, or there's no sound now. Of course, if there's no sound now, you won't know I'm saying this. It's getting there. Get my glove to stop sticking my excess into it. If you have arthritis, this is one of the things they tell you to do to help strengthen your hands and your muscles to make it better, but I find that's not always necessarily true with my hands, at least. Now I want this as smooth as I can get before I put it on there, because I have to squish pretty hard into that. So I'm probably going to remove this stuff here for a minute, because this is glass under here and I don't want to press too hard on it. I don't want to break my glass. Find a place to put the heat mat at so I don't have to unplug it. And now a place for this. And, oh look, a stray. Put my excess molds over to the side, and let's go ahead, put the paper toweling down again. Move these back. Now, which one do I want to try filling first? I think I want to go with that big door. Now, this is not as pliable as I want it to be, because I need to get down into these crevices. So we're going to do what we can to make that happen. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to incorporate just a little bit of water to make the clay a little bit less dry. You only want a little at a time. Squish it up on there. Seal it if you can. And try just gently squeeze so that you can begin incorporating it instead of having it squish out all over the table. Although sometimes I've actually had it shoot straight out. Okay, we're going to break it open. Inside to outside type of situation. I'm going to go ahead and add just a little bit more. It's still not to that really soft stage I want. Again, do the same. Switch it together. Create a little pocket in there of just water, so that as you begin incorporating, oops, see, it's trying to squish out that end. And that's what it does. And that's the kind of smoothness I want. Not as sticky, but not as liquidy. There we we go. It's working into there again. Whoop! See, I don't know if you saw that, but it was a volcano. It's definitely getting there, though. See, shot out on my glove. At least it wasn't my arm. No, but it is my table. Oh, that's getting to be a lot softer now. One more shot. We're almost there. Good idea is to rub it on just there. Try to smooth it into that. Once you get to a little bit softer stage, like what I've just gotten to. This way it helps to keep it from doing that volcano eruption and makes it stick better to itself. Kind of like an egg wash when you're cooking, or a water wash like making empanadas and such, or tortellini. I can honestly say I've always loved being Italian, well, half Italian, because I love pasta. We're almost there. Oh my goodness, that's getting so nice. And yes, it's sticking to the gloves more and more. Okay. So I should be able to work with this to get it down in those crevices. Really mush it in. Make sure it's thoroughly mixed up into there. Okay. So we're going to get to it. Since this is a little doorknob, we're going to try to make a little rope out of this. Thin. Should have brought out one of my tiles because this is rolling my glove up onto it. It's not as thin as I want it to be yet, but we're going to give it a try anyway. So we're just going to wrap it around onto that, and I'm just going to press until I feel no air come out. Do that all the way around, make sure that is thoroughly involved into that. Then we're going to take this piece here that I squished onto the other stuff, and we're going to press it down into this hinge area of the door, the banding. Stop grabbing the other parts of the glove I don't use. And I won't have you watch me do the other two. It's just the same process. You get it down in there. Any small recesses you find, get those first, so that you can make sure that they're fully filled in. Take a bit off of there and start filling up this little flower area. And then I'm just going to make some ropes to go around the sides and start squishing those in. And I'm going to go ahead and pause you for now while I go ahead and fill this in. Okay, I wanted to bring you back real quick so that you can see this one is filled. Now, if you want this a smoother back, place it over on its, get that hair off there, on the top there, like that, and just press. It's easier if you have a rolling pin, so you can just roll side to side, but I can't even find my clay roller I just got, because that's me. This will also help make sure that all of your cavities are filled. Oh, look, another hair. just like that. Turn it back over, and then do the same thing on the top here. Just smooth it out. This will also help you understand if you've got excess, which it does look like I have excess. I always do, which means I just have to go ahead and sand it later. So this one is ready for air drying. I'm going to place it aside so we can do that startup of air drying. We'll get this one here done real quick, and then I'll come back when we're ready to pour on the resin-crete or casting powder. I don't know if I'm using resin-crete or yob top. Probably the yob top. I just bought more. I have a ton of casting powder, a ton of tea experts casting powder, and now I've got another 12,000 grams of yob top coming. Now the reason why I have you do this is because a lot of these molds from Temu have issues. Of course, any place that has them, it's got these lips on here on the edges. Now you can take time and trim that off so that it lays flat, and you need to do that if you're going to be using epoxy or casting powders. Excuse me. Doesn't matter how late at night it is. It's midnight, October 2nd, that I'm starting this right now. Well, it was late night, close to midnight when I started from October 1st, so. And you probably won't see this until much later. Okay, that part's done. I still have one more to do in clay, but you already see what to do. So I am going to, I think it's filled in enough. I do, yes, I do. It is. Okay. In fact, I think I've got it slightly overfilled in some areas, but, you know, that's what your sanding papers and stuff are for. All right, I'm going to pause you while I get ready to pour the others. Okay, I have 100 grams of casting powder, and this is a 10-3, so I'll need 30. Oops. Sorry, I hit lights. I don't see how, but I did. I always do that, though. Let me get the lights back on. So anyway, yes, there is 100 grams in here. I'll have to add 30, but I'm going to add 35. I want it kind of liquidy to fill in all these gaps. And I'm doing it with this because it's easier to keep control of. These bottles are lifesavers. That's 31. Whoops, 37. Okay, well, it's just a little bit more liquidy than I was going for, but that's all right. So let me move this scale out of the way. Let's get this stirred in. The more liquidy it is, the more it seeps in, but then you get more shrinkage as well. Always make sure you're scraping the bottom and sides to make sure you're getting all the powder. Smush them up against the side. You want to make sure everything is incorporated. That looks pretty darned incorporated to me. So let's scrape that off. Let's create a pour spout. We're going to start with this one here first. Let it find its way in. We've got these little crevices up here to fill in. So I'm going to stop for a moment. And we're going to try to fill in some crevices. Look, we don't want to go over the top, and which we did. So I'm going to use this little tool to get down into those crevices and allow that to get into there. Make sure there's no areas for bubbles. We'll just go across like this. Got to get into that area. Whoops. Going down the side. Get a little bit more real fast here. I can tell I'm not completely level, but that's because these happen to have that area that have issues. That they didn't clean off the mold too well. I'm trying to get it all in there, but it's going to be probably hit and miss on what actually of these smaller pieces get all that they need and actually cure up enough to be able to be pulled out properly. I do need to hurry a little bit so that no, I'm not afraid of getting this on my fingers. Sometimes that helps to fill these in. There's a big old bubble right there trying to get it out. There we go. As long as I get the main portion. Now I'm going to turn this back around, and hopefully that'll level it a little bit better. Not have so much at top side there. Get a little bit more. Well, gosh darn it. A little bit more. There we go. And yes, I use my fingers. It doesn't bother me because I'm not allergic to this stuff. Let me set that down for a second. Sink that all down in. Make sure that that's all bubble free. Okay, we'll finish filling that. Something else that you may not know, but the powders begin to settle in the cup again. So what you want to do is re-stir. See how that just thickened up right there? Just re-stir that so that you have proper amount of powder. And it doesn't look like I'm going to have enough to do all four, but that's okay. We're going to go ahead and get what we can. Let's try to fill all this in. Hopefully they will be bubble free and they'll come out properly. Push it up into there. Whoa. It's the one thing about using these cookie coolers. They have issues with tipping if you get on the edge of them. Okay, let's get that filled in all the way. Okay, I've gone quite a bit over, so just keep pushing it in. Starting to get a little thicker now. Should have probably stirred it again. Get a scythe. Now, whatever I got to pop out, I'll pop out. I'm not going to worry about it. I just want to make sure there's no bubbles. Okay, that one's filled. Almost. That side area has its issues. There we go. Need a little bit more up here. And need some more in this one. Not really, but we'll say it. And I think we're filled on all of them. Now I'm going to tap this one here because, there we go. Tap this one. And these. All right, this here is ready to go into the curing box. So I'll be back when this is ready to unmold. All right, it has taken well over a week for these things to dry and cure up all the way. I did remove them off camera from the molds because when I did the test, I started hearing the snap and crackle. Now, I did get some loss on the clay. This right there is what you see. This door, however, came out near perfect. Oops, sorry. Here we are back out of the light again. But the doorknob is partly missing down here. It was left in the mold. I don't know how to get my lights anymore. But I think there was a piece of a leaf missing as well. But for the most part, this came out intact. However, it is quite curved, so I have to do a little bit of sanding on it. And this is for this video. When you see these again, I hope to have had the owl repaired, and bits and pieces like these little small areas in between gone. And I'm afraid to do it because, well, because these areas are so fragile. But I would like to have it as clean as possible. So I'll be working at it off and on throughout other projects. Not on camera, of course, because I really need these. He lost his scythe and a couple of other things. I can't even remember exactly what. So the Grim Reaper is scytheless. This, however, the haunted house portion, had a small portion break off, which was, I think, on this side. I'm not really sure where it came from anymore, but I'll have to check the mold. But for now, these will finish hardening, curing up. I don't know what to do with the cat without the legs, but I'll make do with it, I think. But as you can see, I've got moisture in my room, and so parts of this is still even damp, even despite being put into my Resiner's curing box, which is the tumbler curing box. And so it has heat and air, but yeah, it was a little hit and miss on everything. However, the clay did much better than the casting powder, and that was the Temu casting powder. But Temu and T-Expert and all that stuff, the Resincrete, they all perform primarily the same. So just so you know, they are 10:3 ratio, and yeah, they just kind of didn't make it all the way. However, I am so happy with this door. And this pumpkin, he doesn't need his accessory. I can't even remember what that accessory was. I think it was like a hatchet or a carving knife or something like that. But just this alone will do for what I have planned. And then the ghost itself is intact. The only thing that I had issue with was the little tombstone marker that broke off from here. So I would like to glue that back on and get that settled up. Yeah, still missing or losing pieces off of that is crumbling off. But so that's the video. I hope I didn't bore you too much with all of this. And I do hope that you new viewers and the ones that's been here before consider doing the subscribe thing. Of course, like, comment, share if you care, and of course, peace out.